You obviously just heard a very emotional press conference with elected officials as well as the family. It started off with Bill Elder, and he said about 8 a.m. East Coast time is when Letitia was arrested in Myrtle Beach. No bond has been set. She will be in South Carolina until that extradition and then back in a couple of days. As for some of the charges, we've got murder in the first degree for a child under the age of 12. That is a Class 1 felony, potential for life in prison without possible parole. Child abuse, tampering with a deceased body, tampering with evidence.
And again, if you're just now joining us, it's Letitia Stout, Gannon Stouk's stepmother, the missing 11-year-old from Lorson Ranch, who's been missing for more than a month now, the stepmother of that boy, now possibly facing life in prison without parole. Now, this was an arrest that was made in cooperation with the FBI, the Myrtle Beach Police, county sheriffs in South Carolina. The parents, Albert and Landon Hyatt, both mom and dad, were notified this morning that their 11-year-old boy, Gannon, although he has not been found, police believe he is not coming home. The affidavit is sealed. Those are the court documents, written statements. They are not releasing that because, as Bill Elder said, I quote our county sheriff, that this investigation is steadfast and diligent. We will not stop. He said this investigation has just begun. He said it has just begun, and I think that was a really powerful part of this, and obviously a lot of emotions from everyone talking because we are dealing with the loss of a child. Landon, Gannon's biological mom, did speak. It was tearful. She said her son is her hero. The world has viewed him as her hero, and she just wanted to thank the community. She's only come to Colorado a few times, but they have brought her in with open arms, and they love her and the entire family. She said, today is the worst and best day. Justice will be served. Gannon didn't deserve this. And of course, just very emotional to see her even in the background just collapse into Gannon's father's arms was very telling of everything this family has been through. Again, in case you're just now joining us, we just left the El Paso County Sheriff's Office press conference providing an update on the investigation into missing 11-year-old Gannon Stouk. Gannon's stepmother, Letitia Stouk, has been arrested in South Carolina on suspicion of murder and several other charges. Gannon, from the Lorson Ranch neighborhood here in Colorado Springs, he disappeared more than a month ago. It was actually January 27th was the exact day. There have been extensive, exhaustive searches throughout our entire county, up through Monument, into Douglas County even. They dove into water in the Johnson Reservoir near his home. The sheriff's office has said they've received more than 800 tips in this case. Investigators were seen back in the Stouk home just late last week before continuing their search in a remote area north of Colorado Springs on Saturday. Last month, KRDO actually obtained some security camera video from a neighbor which captured Gannon and his stepmom the day she reported him missing. The video appears to show Letitia Stouk and Gannon leaving her home in Lorson Ranch. Later that afternoon, you can see her return home, but Gannon is not seen with her in the video. After the video was released to media outlets, Letitia put out a statement saying the security camera's view did not capture Gannon, but that he was with her when she returned home that day. Several days after Gannon disappeared, his biological mom, who lives out of state, you just heard from her, made a public plea in tears to help bring her son home.
So I'm begging, I'm pleading, if anybody has any type of lead, put yourself in my situation. Ask yourself, what would you do? My Savior is a great Savior, and I know I have hope and that my son's going to be here.
That clip coming from a press conference back in January. Gannon's mother also speaking 2 other times in February, seemingly more and more emotional. She was obviously very emotional today as well. And we want to go now to Lorson Ranch, the southeast Colorado Springs neighborhood where 11-year-old Gannon Stouk lived and was last seen.
That's where News Channel 13's Alexis Dominguez is live right now with more on how this community is reacting to all of the news of this arrest. Alexis. Breaking news this hour in the case of missing 11-year-old boy Gannon Stouk.
If you're just joining us, the El Paso County Sheriff's Office tells us his stepmother, Letitia Stouk, is now in custody for Gannon's murder. She was arrested this morning in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on suspicion of first-degree murder. She is the last person believed to have seen Gannon alive nearly 5 weeks ago. At the time, the Stouks told police Gannon left to walk to a friend's house on the afternoon of Sunday, January 27th, but she said he never made it home.
Since then, El Paso County Sheriff's Office has done extensive searches in the northern part of our county, as well as Lorson Ranch the neighborhood where Gannon lived. They checked southern Douglas County, areas near Monument, with his father and stepmother. As of this hour, though, we do not know if Gannon's body, actually the sheriff's office has updated us in the press conference. They did say his body has not been found, but they do feel like they have enough evidence to believe that there was foul play and that the stepmother, Letitia Stout, was involved. So she is in South Carolina. That's where she was arrested this morning. We'll bring you more information as that information does come in. We have Crystal Story right now. She rushed over to the sheriff's office where a press conference just wrapped up. Crystal, what have you learned? All right, thank you so much, Crystal. And in just case you're tuning in right now and just now joining us again, 11-year-old Gannon Stout from the Lorson Ranch neighborhood, missing for over a month now. Finally, a big break in the investigation. While they have not found his body, police do believe, law enforcement does believe that there was foul play and that his stepmother, Letitia Stout, is responsible. She was arrested early this morning in South Carolina with a joint effort from the FBI, local Myrtle Beach Police, and the county sheriff's office there.
She faces a slew of charges. Crystal's been covering the story from the beginning for us. You can feel the emotion in that room. Obviously, hearing from Gannon's mom was definitely hard. This is not the news we wanted. There had been so much hope for so many weeks. People coming back saying, we think he's alive, we think he's alive, we're going to continue our search efforts. So obviously still a lot of questions at this point about what led to this arrest and you know, what happened. So we're just going to have to stay on top of it and wait for those details to come out.
And I quote El Paso County Sheriff Bill Elder. He said that they'll remain steadfast and diligent in their investigation. We will not stop. He says, quote, the investigation has just begun. So much more news, I'm sure, in store over the next several days.